All right, guys, I have some humbling lessons that have been coming up for me today, which is funny because as soon as I decided I want to do more videos and education about mindfulness, I get tested of how and where my mindfulness skills are. And I have been stretched the last couple days, especially today. Oh. It's been so rough. And I just keep thinking about like the complete irony of like, I need those mindfulness skills that I have been talking about. Where are they? There's just been so much coming up today. And, you know, just with it being the last day of the year, I think there's like the multifold, the 365-day fold of all this stuff and all the reflection of what 2020 has brought up. Not only for me and my family, but for all of us collectively, for just so many things. I'm sure none of us have gone unscathed from this year. And in the midst of my hurricane and not being anchored in that calm eye of the storm at all, I realized that I was a lot more reactive with my son than I ever really needed to be. And when I found myself checking myself a couple times, I was like, wow, actually, like he is just being splendid, like fabulous. He's just being him, and there's nothing wrong with him. The only thing wrong here is how I am reacting and responding to him, and that all these other things going on in my head are like ricocheting off of my reaction, interpretation, perspective, and communication with my son, who has nothing to do with any of it. Like not one little bit. And if anything, he's the one that's like, his presence and magic is like keeping my head above the water, which has been the case so much this year. And as he was laying down for his nap, I found myself having that reflection again of like, this has nothing to do with him. Yet here I am being a lot more terse and a lot more impatient than I need to be, or want to be, is the bigger thing. And I just shared it with him, and I was just like, Leonidas, I am so sorry. Like, I do not like how I'm being right now. I don't like how I'm being towards you. There is nothing wrong here. I mean, whatever, it's taking you a little bit longer to fall asleep, but like, no big deal. And there's nothing new here. And I'm really sorry. And I will take time during your nap to do some stuff for myself. And I will take care so that when you wake up, I will be in a better place. And essentially, we can have a redo. I love redos. I love the concept of a redo, where someone like myself in that example, I just had this aha moment. I don't like what's going on here. I don't like how I've been reacting and responding and all of it. Can I just like start over and do that again? Please? And of course, the most gracious person on earth that I think receives my redos is my son, because I've asked and requested redos a lot with him. And, you know, I think it's, for me, redo is associated with resolution or repair. A lot of times, I think what is expected in that sort of scenario is an apology. I'm sorry. Which is like acknowledging that I realize I'm not doing something that great, and I'm sorry. I would like to challenge myself personally. I try to challenge myself every day with this. But also challenging all of you out there, what that next step above an apology would look like. Would it be something like, well, this is just not going right at all. Can we just like call it a wash and just redo and start over? Maybe it's just acknowledging instead of just the apology. It's, wow, I am just so cranky. I am not being kind. I'm not being patient. And I want to do better. So I'm going to. Versus, oh, I'm sorry. And not taking acknowledgement for it. And I'm thinking about that too, you know, not just in the context of repair in relationships or a reset with a really hurricane of emotions and feelings and reactions of doing a redo and repair, but also just now bringing that medicine into, you know, the last day of 2020 and how I can take those messages and take all this other stuff that's like bubbling up. And instead of internalizing it as these hurts and insults and like whatever it may be, looking at it as a way to learn and like, how could I go about repairing that? How can I go about redoing it? Maybe this whole 2020 was like that time leading up to being like, can we have a redo? Of course, we can't always redo stuff because there's been a lot of cause and effect that's happened. But I would like to carry that energy forward of how can I do better? Now that I know better, how can I do better? Thanks for listening. And Happy New Year.